Welcome to today's 15-minute Yogalates class for pelvic stability and glute strength. When you are ready, join me in a comfortable position, close the eyes, and give yourself this space to return inwards. Take an inventory of how you are feeling and accept what arises for you. Remembering that there's no need to judge yourself. We'll start today's practice warming up the side body. Exhale, bend over to the left, lateral spinal flexion. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend to the right, and again. Stretching the obliques. Warming up the core, the shoulders. On this next round, we'll scoop the chest forwards and around, maybe coming up into a back bend or opening the heart space. Nice fluid movements. Final round. And raising the torso. Lengthening the spinal column and taking a moment to check in with yourself, noticing if there are any differing sensations. Perhaps you're feeling a bit of heat within the body, maybe a stillness in the mind, and if you notice nothing at all, know that that's okay. Let's come into a tabletop position. And we'll take a traditional cat and cow, flowing through spinal flexions and extensions, creating a seamless transition between each movement, allowing the breath to guide you, engaging the lower abdomen. Taking one more round of cat and cow. And when you're ready, we'll meet in a tabletop position with a neutral spine. Hips are aligned with the knees, wrists are aligned with the shoulders. We're going to extend the left leg back. You might like to shift your weight forwards and backwards, stretching out the calf muscle, the Achilles. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, let's come into a Pilates push-up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, lower the chest down, raise the leg. And guide the knee to the nose, continuing on with this movement. Allowing the upper arms to graze the torso. Elbows are pointing behind you. It's as though we're coming into a tricep push-up with the upper body. Every time you extend your leg, pointing the foot, finding your longest leg line. And every time you guide your knee to the nose, really rounding out the spine, stretching the back body. The core is engaged throughout this entire series, gluing your belly button to the spine. You've got this. Softening the facial features, maybe inviting a smile onto your lips. One more round on this side, make it count. Beautiful work. We'll meet in child's pose, sinking the hips to the heels, big toes together, widening the knees slightly, and extending the arms out in front. Feeling a beautiful release for the lower back. Let's take this on the other side, coming up into tabletop, switching on the core, elongating the back of the neck, tucking the right toes under and gliding the right foot back. Point the toes. Inhale, float the leg up. Exhale, lower the chest down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to nose, just like this. Allowing the breath to guide each movement. Perhaps getting your nose or your lips to the earth every time you lower down. And really doing your best to keep the hips squared here. Notice if that right hip wants to externally rotate and turn out to the side. See if you can correct that alignment. If you notice any sensitivity in the wrists, press a little bit more firmly into the thumbs and the index fingers. We've got 2 more rounds on this side. Move with intention. Well done. Returning to child's pose. Stretch it out and breathe. On your next inhalation, pressing into the palms and rising up into a tabletop position. Gliding the left foot back, extending the leg, right palm under the face, pivot to the left, raise the left arm skywards, supported side plank. Wrists, elbows and shoulders are aligned. Point the toes and we're going to lift and lower our left leg. Raising the leg to hip height. Pausing for a moment at the top and lowering with control. This is a beautiful exercise to work our stabilizing muscles, the outer glutes, the glute med, and this is really going to help us keep our pelvis in alignment as we go throughout our daily activities. Again, finding your longest leg line, turning on the muscles of the entire body here. 2 more single leg lifts. And we'll keep that leg up and pulse. This time keeping the foot flexed, pushing into the heel of that foot. You might find it helpful to place your left palm on your hip for support, or place it on your abdomen to really ensure that your abdominals are switched on. Ribs are soft. Keep the leg up and hold. Well done. Let's come into a tabletop position. We're going to extend our left leg out, point the toes, and begin to lift and lower the left leg. Again, if it's possible, raising that leg to hip height. This can be a really challenging one for some of us, so take your time. We want to keep the right knee aligned with the right hip. Well done. Okay, let's come to lie down on our right hand side. You might like to prop your head up in your right palm, creating a 90-degree angle with your bottom leg, core is switched on, and we're going to extend our top leg, the left leg, out in front. Flex the foot, toes are pointed towards the earth, and we're going to lift and lower that leg. So we're targeting the same muscle group from a variety of different movements. So if you're beginning to feel the heat, know that that is good. Your muscles are working to support you here. This is our final strength exercise on this side for this series. Breathe. Last lift. Well done. Massage it out. And let's take a seated stretch, crossing the left leg atop of the right. Twisting to the left as you press the outer edge of your right tricep into the left thigh. Elongating the spine, slowing down the breath, and really noticing the sensations that are manifesting around that outer hip, around the outer glute. See if you can keep that presence, that awareness. Okay, let's come into a tabletop position and let's stretch out that hip. creating some circles with the knee and the hip. It's almost like a fire hydrant movement in a circular motion. You might like to swap the direction of your circles, taking your time. Beautiful. We'll meet in child's pose. Okay, friends, let's take this series on the other side. Inhale, rise up into a tabletop position. Elongate the back body, strengthen the core, glide the right leg back, place the left palm under the face, pivot to the right, Vashisthasana, supported side plank. Point the right toes, and let's begin to lift and lower the right leg. Raising the leg to hip height and lowering down, ever so slightly tapping your right big toe on the earth, or you can keep the foot elevated the entire time for a challenge. We've got the left knee aligned with the left hip. Arms are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Smile, breathe, you can do this. Two more single leg lifts. And let's keep that right leg up and pulse, flexing the foot, pushing into the heel of that foot, softening the face, softening the shoulders. Final few pulses. Keep the leg up and hold, and release. Well done, tabletop position. And let's come into our lateral leg extensions. Extending the right leg out to the side, pointing the toes, and beginning to lift and lower the right leg. Allow the breath to guide you to a space of inner tranquility. Final lift. Beautiful work. Okay, let's come to lie down on the left-hand side. Prop your head up in your left palm and create those 90-degree angles with your legs. Knees are aligned with the hips, core is switched on. You might like to raise your right arm or keep it on the earth. We're going to lift and lower our top leg. Foot is flexed. This is our final bit of strength work for this series. You've got this. Last few. Last 3, 2, 1, and release. Well done. Let's come into our seated stretch, crossing the right leg atop of the left, twisting to the right and using the support of your left tricep to help amplify the stretch. Doing your best to keep your weight evenly distributed across both sits bones. Well done, gently release. Let's come into tabletop and find our fire hydrant hip circles. Noticing if you are still holding on to tension, whether it be physical, mental, or an emotion that's lingering. See if you can guide the breath there. Allow yourself to create this inner space, this inner harmony. One more circle. Well done, friends. Let's meet in child's pose. Stretch it out and surrender. You can absolutely stay in child's pose, but if you'd like to join us, we'll come up into down dog, elevating the pelvis, extending the legs. Arms are straight, gaze is between the feet. Spine is in a neutral position, and really softening the ribs here, so noticing if the thoracic cage begins to puff up. From here, we'll come into pigeon pose. guiding the left knee towards the left wrist, left ankle towards right wrist. You have the option to keep the torso elevated. If you'd like to get deep into the outer hips, you might like to lower down onto your forearms or perhaps rest your forehead on the earth. The right leg is pointed behind us. Breathe. Nice one. If you're on your forearms, re-extending the arms, and let's meet in down dog. One breath here. If you'd like to mobilize the hips, it might feel nice to bend one knee at a time, straighten the other. And let's prepare for pigeon pose with the right leg in front. Easing your way into this deep stretch. Well done, friends. Let's come into our final down dog for today. Use this opportunity to stretch out the body, to stretch out the mind. In your own time, lowering the knees to the earth, and it might feel nice to circle the hips in one direction, creating any organic movement here that feels nourishing. And we'll meet in child's pose. Placing the palms under the shoulders and gently unraveling the spine one vertebra at a time. Coming up into a seated position. Closing the eyes and thanking yourself for showing up to today's practice. Honoring and celebrating the courage and the strength that exists within you. Thank you so much for today. Namaste.